Hey, I'm Jenn Colella. I play Captain Beverly Bass, Annette, and others in Broadway's Come From Away, and today we're going to be talking about standbys. We're going to be talking to two of my favorite standbys on the planet.
Oh. Hey.
Will you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Tony LePage. I cover 5 of the parts in Come From Away. I cover Nick,
Boom.
Oz,
Boom.
Claude,
Come on.
Kevin T, and
Yep.
Kevin J.
So many
and
people.
others.
Oh my God.
Hey, I'm Happy McPartlin. I cover 5 of the female parts. Thank God, not the men.
Yes.
I cover Diane, Beulah, Beverly Bass, Hannah, and Bonnie.
So many people.
It's hard to keep track, and the others forget about it. I can't remember all their names.
Oh my goodness gracious. Just to start things off, will you explain to our audience what a standby is?
Right. Scoop is we are standing by backstage, and we basically, if someone goes on vacation, we jump in for that role. If somebody gets sick, God forbid, before the show, we go on. If somebody has a personal day, we go on. And it's basically, we are there in the building during the show so that if anything goes awry during the show, we can jump in and do our deal.
Awesome. Happy, can you speak a little bit to what the difference is between a standby, an understudy, and a swing?
Sure. So standbys are exclusively principal covers for principal tracks. So it's really more of a contractual union kind of thing to say. I mean, in our building, people call us understudy, swing, standbys. We don't care. We say, great, we're here. We're here. We're part of the team.
Call me a pineapple if I'm going to be on Broadway. I don't care.
Exactly. I don't care. I'll do it.
Sure.
Understudies are usually ensemble tracks who understudy principal roles. And they are actually on-stage people. And then swings are people who are off-stage and cover all of the ensemble tracks on stage, and sometimes principals as well, which I think Tony did on Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages, yep. I was the offstage. I sang in the booth, actually, in Rock of Ages and covered all 8 of the guys, which was the first time anybody ever did that, which is
It's awesome.
a pretty cool thing, yeah.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. What goes into rehearsing that many tracks, and how do you rehearse?
Yeah, it's pretty intense. It's kind of crazy because everybody jumps from role to role, and there's like a line here, line there, line here, line there, and all that stuff. And the chairs, as we all know, just the crazy thing that happens with the chairs. So at the start, I kind of felt like my brain was not my own for about 6 months.
I see.
6 months
That's fair.
for the 5 roles kind of got me to the point where I went, okay, now I can think about maybe watching a TV series.
Sure.
Or something.
Otherwise, your
at
head's
home.
just
Otherwise, I'm
buried
just sitting there with
in the
these like
script.
5 different books
Right.
and different colors, and it was
Right,
crazy.
because it's not just the chairs and the lines, it's different vocal parts. It's complete, that's what drives me absolutely wild when I see one of you on stage. I'm like, how are you just sang a completely different part this afternoon sometimes, and then that evening you're someone else moving different chairs and you're singing a different vocal part. How do you rehearse that specifically? Like, what's the rehearsal process?
You learn a lot about how you learn. For me, I joined the show in DC, and in DC we didn't have any time for rehearsals. So how I learned it there was strictly fear. And
Yes. Here's a good motivator.
It was absolutely. They basically were like, you have to learn it by watching it. So I learned everything almost like a video in my mind of what you guys do. So each person, it's almost like a video game or a movie just of you and where you go and how the jacket goes on and all of that stuff. And while at the time I thought, there's no way this will help me, like I won't remember because I don't have pages and I haven't had music rehearsal, but it does.
It's
actually
sink in.
the best way to learn, and I never would have thought I could learn anything that way.
Beautiful.
I love that part of the job, that I know that at any second if I had to go on, I could do it. That's sort of that crazy person in you that goes to school and is like, I could do anything. Okay, let me just do anything. Well, I got my wish.
And you
Be careful
can.
what you wish for.
Right.
And to be able to go on and play all of these incredibly different acting roles is just like, it's the best dream. I would never get bored. And I get to see you guys from all different sides, and it's crazy. It's
cool.
really fun.
That's awesome. That's so sweet. Do you have any crazy stories? Any crazy understudy stories? What pops out in your head?
From Rock of Ages, there was a few in Rock of Ages actually that were kind of crazy. I sang in the vocal booth, and I'm at the show, and I'm doing a crossword in the booth, and then the song Sister Christian comes on, and apparently Constantine, when he ran across the stage, he zapped something in his calf.
Oh my goodness.
And he just felt this shooting pain up the back of his calf. He hobbled his way through the next thing. He came off stage, and then my buddy Josh Sassanella comes over and goes, "Hey man, you might want to get ready." And I said, "We're 2 songs in, 2."
Yeah.
Because I said, "Okay." Like I was just messing with me
Yeah.
or whatever. And he goes, "No, actually." And I look over and Constantine goes like that, and I was like, "Huh." Downstairs, wig on, blah blah blah. He like hobbles his way through "I Want to Rock," and at the end of, just before the next part, when "We're Not Going to Take It" comes on, he sits down in the back with a guitar, and I poke my head out from behind the bar, dressed like him, and then he goes. He looks at me and he nods. I go, "Yeah," like this. He comes over, puts the guitar on me. I go over and I sit down like this, and the next thing I'm just like, "Hey everybody," like this, and you see the audience are just sitting there, and all I saw was just these like shadows of heads going like this, or like this.
That seems like a different film.
Yeah, and sure, and then they announced it at halftime, so that was the
That's
ridiculous.
incredible.
Yeah,
And how did the show go for you?
it's great.
Aces.
Super fun.
Top.
Aces.
Badass. How about you? Any
Yeah.
crazy standby stories?
Well, there's one that was when Sharon hurt herself
hurt herself in the
coming
hall.
down the stairs.
Right.
But what was crazy was, so Lee McDougall, our original Nick,
right.
no one told Lee that she was leaving.
And she's playing opposite Lee.
And she's playing opposite
Wait,
Lee,
this
so they're
is-
like
I remember
romantic
this.
leads. And the next scene, so she sings this costume party, which is about, changing into someone else. She literally says, "I think I'm turning into someone else."
Yep.
And then I literally walked on and I was someone else. So all of a sudden Lee turns around to do the next scene and he's like, "Oh." It was the funniest
wasn't it was
thing
just
I've
like-
ever. He was like,
Is your hair different?
Yeah.
I think it's the actual
Yeah,
line in
it
the
was
show.
it. Like,
Yeah.
it
He's
was
like,
right
"You look
after
nice,
that.
I like it."
But he said, and he had friends in the audience who didn't know that it was not a choice. He thought that when she said she was changing into someone else, that it became
How
a different
beautiful.
actor.
Oh,
I was
I
like, wow,
love it.
Chris Ashley is really, really, really smart.
Right.
Extra,
switched
really
on.
smart.
She's actually turned into someone else. These are incredible stories. I just have to say, on behalf of the entire artistic community, thank you for the hard work that you do. It's unbelievable, and you don't get enough praise. You really, really don't. People don't understand completely what you do. It's just like, oh yeah, right, the Understudy's on. You put so much time and effort and love into making these characters your own, and to serving the production as a whole, and to looking out for us. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you do. You're both astounding.
Thanks, Jen. I love
Truly.
you.
Thank you. I love you too. Let's go to our show.
Let's do
All
it.
right. All right. Good.